Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group, former 18F employees file an appeal against their termination, saying that the DOGE wrongfully targeted them as an act of retaliation. And Fannie Mae partners with Palantir on mortgage fraud detection technology. It's Thursday, May 29th, 2025. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. Let's dive into the day's top headlines. Former employees of the General Services Administration's 18F digital tech consultancy team filed an appeal Wednesday challenging their alleged wrongful termination and the targeted shuttering of the program by the Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency earlier this year. The employees, represented by the law firm Mary & Scalette, submitted a class action appeal with U.S. Merit Systems Protection Board to request a hearing and have their removal reversed. Former 18F leaders Lindsey Young, Miata Myers, Christian Crumlich, James Tranovich, and Kate Fisher are named as appellants, representing that larger class of about 80 terminated permanent and term employees from the team who've served for more than a year. The group claimed that GSA, along with the Office of Personnel Management, DOGE, and the Office of Management and Budget, lacked a, quote, valid reason for the reduction in force targeting 18F that took place February 28th, and claimed that the action was a result of retaliation. The terminated 18F members say in the filed appeal that, quote, the group was targeted to retaliate against them because of their perceived political affiliations or beliefs, First Amendment protected speech and actions supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion, and actions to resist and blow the whistle on management's improper handling and transition of control concerning sensitive data and systems. They go on to say that, quote, GSA did not provide any reason for terminating all 18F staff. The RIF notices to all staff simply say their positions are being abolished. And they claim that, quote, GSA lost money and continues to do so because ongoing projects that involved 18F staff and those in the pipeline will not be maintained or completed. On top of that, they say DOGE, its unofficial figurehead Elon Musk, OPM, and OMB acted beyond the scope of the law by directing or influencing the destruction of the group and termination of its members. In other news, Fannie Mae, the government-sponsored enterprise overseen by the Federal Housing Finance Agency, is enlisting data analytics giant Palantir in a new partnership aimed at cracking down on mortgage fraud. Under the agreement, Palantir's technology will be deployed to uncover fraud in mortgage packages before they reach Fannie Mae. Priscilla Almodovar, president and chief executive officer of Fannie Mae, said the tech will allow the organization to see patterns quicker. Almodovar said during a press conference in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday that, quote, we're going to be able to identify fraud more proactively as opposed to reactively. We're going to be able to understand the fraud and stop it in its tracks. And I think over time, this really becomes a deterrent for bad actors because we're creating friction in the system when they do bad things. FHFA Director Bill Pulte, who also serves as chairman of the Fannie Mae board, said the financial crimes division that monitors Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac is only able to root out crime that it is made aware of. Palantir's red flag approach, meanwhile, tips off those investigators to conduct probes they otherwise might not have known to launch. Almodovar recalled an exercise where Palantir's technology was given 4 actual loan files to assess. The tech, she said, scoured the reams of paper and identified instances of fraud in 10 seconds. The same exercise could take human investigators roughly 2 months. With $4.3 trillion in assets, Fannie Mae presents an exceptionally attractive target for fraud. Alex Karp, co-founder and CEO of Palantir, said that by leveraging his company's technology, the fraudsters will be pushed to other countries. He said, quote, why defraud America when you can go somewhere else that won't buy or implement actual technology that works? For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, make sure to visit FedScoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, as always, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.